In Hollywood, relationships often burn bright and fade fast. Careers rise, headlines disappear, and families are sometimes left behind in the noise of fame. But Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick are different. For more than 3 decades, they have quietly built something rare. Not just a lasting marriage, but a grounded family shaped by creativity, honesty, and emotional balance. While the world knows them as celebrated actors, their greatest role has always taken place far from red carpets, inside their home. Married since 1988, Kevin and Kyra chose a life where family came before image, and parenting mattered more than publicity. And from that choice came 2 children, Travis and Sosie, who grew up watching success, but never being defined by it. This is not just a story about famous parents. It's a story about how 2 creative souls were raised to find their own paths. For Kyra Sedgwick, motherhood was never something she balanced against her career. It became the core of who she is. She once explained that while acting has been part of her life for as long as she can remember, being a mother is what shapes her thoughts every single day. From the moment she wakes up to the moment she falls asleep, her children are always present in her mind. Kevin Bacon shared a similar philosophy. Despite decades of success, awards, and recognition, he believed that his most important responsibility was not what he did on screen, but who he was at home. He spoke openly about raising his children with honesty, integrity, and compassion, teaching them to care for the world around them, and just as importantly, to care for each other. There was no pressure to follow in their footsteps, only encouragement to discover who they truly were. In 2005, the Bacon family crossed a rare line in Hollywood. They didn't just live together, they created together. The film Loverboy, directed by Kevin Bacon, became a deeply personal family project. Kyra Sedgwick led the film with a powerful performance. Their daughter Sosie portrayed the younger version of her mother's character, and their son Travis appeared in a supporting role. But this was never about showcasing their children. Kevin later explained that he made casting decisions as a director, not as a father. He believed Sosie fit the role naturally, without pressure or expectation. After the experience, Sosie stepped back, returned to school, and chose normalcy, proving that the family valued balance over ambition. Years later, they prepared to reunite once again for Family Movie, a comedy horror project centered on an unconventional family of filmmakers. Industry voices describe the Bacons as one of the most compelling families in Hollywood, not because of fame, but because of authenticity. Travis Bacon was born on June 23, 1989 in Los Angeles, a city where fame often arrives before identity. Growing up with 2 world-famous parents, he was surrounded by cameras, scripts, film sets, and conversations about success from an early age. But unlike many children raised in Hollywood, Travis never chased the spotlight. From a young age, he seemed drawn not to visibility, but to atmosphere. While acting and filmmaking were always present around him, music became the space where he could disappear and create without expectations. Kevin Bacon's own musical journey, particularly his work with the Bacon brothers, subtly influenced Travis. Yet instead of following a mainstream path, Travis leaned toward darker, more experimental sounds, music that explores emotion, tension, and internal worlds rather than popularity. Over time, he established himself as a producer, composer, and musician, developing a style defined by intensity and authenticity. He eventually became the frontman of the industrial metal band Contra Cult Collective, a project that reflects his desire for full creative control and artistic freedom. For Travis, music was never about applause. It was about expression. In November 2021, Kyra Sedgwick attended one of his live performances at the Welcome to Rockville Music Festival in Florida. The moment wasn't framed as a celebrity appearance. It was a proud mother watching her son command a stage on his own terms. She later described him as insanely talented, not as a public statement, but as an honest reflection of a parent witnessing her child fully alive in his element. Travis also inherited his father's deep appreciation for the horror genre, a space where creativity thrives without rules. In 2022, he launched /Cinema, describing it as an entirely new universe of horror shorts. What makes the project unique is its independence. Every short film is written by him, shot by him, scored by him, and performed by him alongside close collaborators. There are no studios shaping the vision, no expectations to soften the edges. /Cinema became an extension of Travis himself, dark, immersive, and unapologetically personal. Though he generally avoids public attention, Travis occasionally steps into the spotlight for meaningful reasons. In September 2022, he attended the premiere of his sister Sosie's horror film, Smile, offering quiet support rather than seeking recognition. Creatively, Travis has also worked behind the scenes with both of his parents. As a composer, he contributed music to film projects involving Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick, including Space Oddity, released in 2022, directed by Sedgwick and starring Bacon. These collaborations weren't about legacy, they were about trust. Ahead of Travis's mid-30s, Kyra Sedgwick reflected on how deeply she and Kevin recognized themselves in their son. She described him as hungry, striving, and driven, qualities they once carried when they were building their own careers. Yet Travis's journey is distinctly his own. In an industry that often defines success by visibility, Travis Bacon represents a different kind of achievement, one rooted in independence, creative courage, and the willingness to remain unseen while doing deeply meaningful work. He didn't reject Hollywood, he simply chose something quieter and perhaps more honest. Sosie Bacon was born on March 15, 1992, into a world already shaped by storytelling. Yet her journey into acting was never rushed. After her early appearance in Loverboy, she returned to school and lived outside the spotlight. There was no pressure to continue, no expectation to succeed quickly. When Sosie returned to acting, she did so with intention. She gradually built a strong resume, appearing in critically respected projects such as Mayor of Easttown, Narcos Mexico, 13 Reasons Why, and Here and Now. Each role added emotional depth and credibility, not hype. In 2013, Sosie was named Miss Golden Globe, a moment filled with pride and concern for her parents. They understood the exposure, the pressure, and the emotional toll of the industry. Still, they supported her, because passion, once discovered, deserves respect. In 2022, Sosie faced her most demanding challenge yet. She landed the lead role in the psychological horror film Smile, a performance that required constant emotional intensity with no relief. Kevin Bacon admitted that watching the film left him stunned, not only by her ability, but by her endurance. Unlike most roles, there was no calm beginning, no gentle introduction. The stress never eased, and the emotional weight never lifted. Seeing her succeed didn't feel like watching a rising star. It felt like witnessing his daughter step fully into her own strength. In January 2023, Kevin and Sosie appeared together in a commercial, a quiet reminder that collaboration still flows naturally within the family. There was no spectacle, no forced moment, just a father and daughter sharing the screen with comfort and trust. The Bacon family continues to move forward, not chasing headlines, but building meaningful work rooted in connection. The story of Kevin Bacon and Kyra Sedgwick's children is not about privilege. It's about freedom. Freedom to choose different creative paths. Freedom to step away from fame. Freedom to return when ready. Travis found his voice through music and horror. Sosie found hers through emotional storytelling and resilience. And behind them stands a family that chose values over visibility. In a world obsessed with fame, the Bacon family reminds us of something deeper. That the greatest success is not being seen, but being understood. Before you go, if you enjoyed this story and found it meaningful, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who loves real Hollywood stories, and subscribe to Quotes Time for more inspiring journeys.